Hello, everyone. I am Eliani. Welcome to the G4A webinar today. I will be hosting this webinar, and we're really excited to have you all here. So let's get started. So our agenda, we will start talking about a little bit about who we are, who is Bayer G4A. We will tell you about our global network, what is our track record, what have we done until now, what are the business challenges that we have at the moment, and what are our 2019 partnership tracks opportunities that we have. We will go into more detail with the growth track criteria and the advanced track criteria. And then obviously we will talk to you about the next steps, the timeline, and what will happen next. Then you will have opportunity to ask us questions to all of the G4A team. And in the Q&A session, we will be answering all of your questions that you can send throughout the chat in this webinar. So our team at G4A, we have Eugene, Sue, Priyanka, Max, and Sophie. But let me introduce you today to our team during the call. So we have Sue with us today.
Hi everyone, this is Sue. I'm heading the digital health partnerships at G4A here at Bayer, and we are really excited to welcome you to our webinar today to learn more about our tracks.
Hi, my name is Max Kantz. It's a pleasure to have you all on the call. I'm the Chief Technologist of G4A Partnerships and responsible for reviewing companies and their technologies to really figure out how it fits with the various business challenges.
And I'm Sophie Park. I'm the Chief Strategist here for the G4A Digital Health Partnerships here at Bayer. And I'm responsible for sort of understanding and molding how these partnership initiatives here at Bayer could look like through G4A, and making sure that, we envision, the way that we run some of these programs, for the present and the future.
Great, thank you, Sophie. And let's not repeat myself. Well, you already know me. I'm an associate here at Digital Health Partnership. So let's start then. Who is Bayer G4A?
We're here to change the experience of health. And we can't do this alone. We can only do this together with innovators like yourself. So today we want to explore how we can work together to really jointly create new products, services, and approaches to change the experience of health and make health and care really about people, not processes, not technology, not data, but really to answer human-centered and human-focused challenges. G4A Partnerships builds the bridge between you guys, digital health innovators, and Bayer. And the way we do this is by business development. So really seeking out what you guys need, how that fits with what Bayer Pharma has to offer, and co-create new solutions or even invest in case this is what you need. So at the end of the day, it's really about bringing together the assets and benefits from both worlds, the pharma world and you guys. G4A was started 6 years ago, and throughout that time, we've built a huge network with partners all over the world. We work with government, we work with various ecosystem players, hospitals, and government agencies. Through that, throughout the years, over 2,400 startups have applied to work with us through our programs, and we have 140 alumni that are now working on 30 projects with Bayer worldwide. And you can be one of them. Our focus areas this year are in these areas you see here, which are in cardiovascular, dermatology, digital therapeutics, emerging markets, neurotech, oncology, ophthalmology, pulmonology, women's health, and radiology. So you see, it's a very broad area of topics where we seek collaborators for. And Sophie's going to tell you more next about what our 2 tracks are, what the goals are, and most importantly, what we can offer for you.
Fantastic.
Great. So I will go through our 2 partnerships tracks this year. I know if you guys have already checked out online at G4A.health, you'll be familiar that this year we no longer have an accelerator program, nor the generator, nor what was formerly known as the deal maker. However, this year we have split our initiative into 2 tracks. So the growth track for the early stage companies that come in for projects, and the advanced track for the later stage companies. So a quick overview on what the growth track entails. As you see on both tracks, there is a partnership or co-creation project or commercial deals. For the growth, we have in the form of a convertible loan, 50 to 100K euro investment. This does not, however, include, other project funding that may come from different Bayer teams that you would be working with while you're here. We do offer co-working space for our growth track companies because it is a little bit more early stage, and so it would require a little bit more face time with some of the stakeholders that you'll be working with here in Berlin, Germany. And in addition, we do offer mentorship and coaching from our Bayer Pharma senior executives, other leaderships within different pharma business areas, and also including external partners. So for our advanced track, for the later stage companies, we offer, co-creation and commercial deals, as I've said earlier. And also this comes with a project funding from G4A and Bayer teams. And I know we will get to this question later, but, specifics on what the project funding is will vary dependent on what the commercial deal looks like. And so this depends and varies, on the size of your company, what product you'll be, scaling in the market or co-creating. And lastly, we do also offer, different collaboration and networking within Bayer and also outside of Bayer as well. Now, just to go a little bit more deeper into the layers of, who are we actually looking for these growth, quote unquote, growth track companies? You'll see on the right side, some of the criteria that we do look at based on our previous experiences with running the 2 programs, or the 3 programs, is we are looking for startups with funding, anywhere between bootstrap, seed, or up to Series A. I mean, this is always flexible. I do want to say that because we do know, some companies are great and they come in and they're all privately funded, right? So it also depends. Startups, this is important. They must have a minimal viable product. And what this definition of a minimal viable product means is that, you must have a somewhat of a functioning product that is ready to A is ready to be tested, or B is already in the middle of being tested with actual users. So no prototypes, or, as much as we love all the dreamers, no general ideas, right? So minimal viable product is what we're looking for. Also the team, right? We're looking for a diverse team with the relevant skills and expertise, with product development background, tech background, business backgrounds. These are some of the examples. And then startups should have, relevant patents or IPs or even publications, or in some cases, ongoing validation on their product or proposed solution. And then lastly, as most of you should know from our website, you saw various therapeutic area challenges. We do ask that, some of these solutions, actually not some, but most of these challenges that need to be addressed come directly from the pharma business that we are working together with. And so we do ask that the startups address one of the specific challenges. And I do know, because we have seen some applications that have already come in that are a little bit more general, and there could possibly be a co-creation opportunity. And so we are flexible there. But I would say the most important aspect is the technology behind your solution. You know, what does it really do? Like, what is the essence of your solution, and what and how can we work together to sort of take you forward there? Now I want to go through the advanced track. And as you know, the advanced track is a little bit more for mature companies. So these are companies with a validated product. However, we are looking into companies with ongoing validation in a different challenge area, and that's acceptable as well. You must have a product in the market with customers or users. And also, these are based on our experiences, right, of companies that apply into our programs. But funding, we are usually looking at a minimum of Series A or above. And this is usually because, you know, based on our experiences in the past, you know, obviously companies with a little bit more funding are a little bit more mature and already are in the market and ready to scale. And lastly, just like the growth track, we are asking that companies do address a specific TA challenge, but as I said, this is also flexible based on what kind of solution your company has and what kind of, you know, challenge that it is addressing for us and whether or not we can co-create there. So that's our growth and advanced track. Now, I'd like to hand it over to my colleague Max, who will kind of take you through very briefly on what the application timeline looks like.
Fantastic. Now that you've seen what we look for and how the various tracks are being judged and what is available, let me take you to the application timeline. So our application closed on the 31st of May, which gives us another 2 weeks. During that time, if you have any further questions on what to focus on or whether you have any kind of questions regarding the application, please do reach out. We are here to help. Once submitted, the applications will go out to our Bayer experts in the various therapeutic areas for them to review. During that time, which happens until July 31st, we may reach out to you again should there be any kind of clarifying questions that came from the Bayer experts. On the 1st of August, you will be notified about whether you will be invited to the workshops or not. And once that occurs, we will also let you know in due course about the exact dates and the structure of the particular workshops. The goal is to have everything finalized by the 10th of October with the signing day and the official start of the various tracks, advance and growth.
Great, thank you, Max.
Thank you, Max. Yeah, thank you, Sophie and Sue. So right now we have a time for questions and answers. So if you have any questions upon the program, upon the tracks, here we are to answer all of the questions that you have. So already some people have texted me about questions that they have about the program. And so Sophie, maybe you want to answer me this question? Many people say that what is exactly the G4A offers? So many people say about that if you're an accelerator or if you're offering a partnership with Bayer, or are you doing both? So how does it look like? What does it actually is?
Yeah, so I know that this is a question that, you know, right, like everyone asks, like, what is our offering, right? And so you can find most of the general offerings online, but we try to be as flexible as we can through G4A. We not only offer funding, and I know that the big question is, you know, so how much is that funding? To be specific, we can say that the funding will also depend on what kind of project you will be running with our Bayer business stakeholders. And then in terms of, right, so what roles does our team play? We are actually like the business development arm of Bayer Pharma, or for digital health specific projects. And so essentially, our partnerships tracks will, you know, definitely focus on creating the best collaboration opportunities for both parties, as well as meeting those funding needs, whether you're early stage or whether you're late stage. So I know some of the questions there, what does Bayer expect in return for the funding? So for the growth track, if you are an early stage company that comes in, it is usually in the form of a 50 to 100K convertible note, and that usually convertible notes are convertible into equity if we decide to further invest into your company. That also includes, on top of the quote unquote convertible note, project funding, and that X amount is dependent on what type of projects you'll be running. For the advanced track, however, you can see that as a solely commercial cooperation, which means, we are here to help you scale. We are here to help you, co-create if there are opportunities there. And this does not include the convertible note. This is just a form of partnership payment or some sort of a project funding. And as I said, the funding will depend on what kind of project it is, how large scale will this project be going. So that's kind of what it is. And I know a lot of question is asked about, location and relocation. So we are based out in Berlin, Germany, and this is where Bayer Pharma's headquarters is also located, including a lot of the business stakeholders. And so because we are here at headquarters, normally from our experience in the past, we do require some of the early stage companies to be co-located with us because there's a lot more of like co-creation there. However, this year we are not requiring that your entire team or said company need to be here. I mean, we are very flexible. And in terms of, what kind of companies can apply and can you still apply even if you do not meet any of the TEA challenges, totally fine. Feel free to apply. I mean, there are always changes happening and we are growing with it as well. And so please still apply if you see that your company still does not meet a very specific challenge, because we do understand ourselves that the challenges are not, the challenges are very, very specific. So we do understand that and we try to be as flexible as we possibly can. And so in short answer, no, you do not have to be co-located, but dependent on the project, you may have to be here face to face with stakeholders a little bit more often than maybe, another smaller company doing a smaller project. So let's see, another common question. So we're actually taking all these questions and putting them into one. So please be patient as we go through this. I see one of the questions here is, does this mean the track on global health is not relevant for 2019? All challenges that are stated, by the way, on the website is relevant for 2019. And let's see, I know, and then as I said, your company can have a digital health mental solution. We have challenges up there that are, for digital therapeutics, and it's super, super broad. There's challenges up there for, voice tech. And we do understand that, some of the therapeutic area challenges are very specific. However, we are still willing to look outside the box to sort of address some of those needs. So we would still love to see what product you have to try to figure out if there could be a partnering opportunity. And just to kind of go into a little bit more detail about sort of what our oh, sorry, I've been sorry. Sorry, excuse me. So one of the questions that we do get is, when do we relocate? Once again, that is all dependent on when the project starts. But our start date would be mid-October. That is when we will like to kick off all of the projects. But as we know, a lot of companies are different, the sizes are different, etc. So that'll also be something that we do consider.
And Sophie, so there is also one person asking about if we're currently finishing our MVP, fully functional device. We had earlier partial functioning prototypes. It is foreseen to have an MVP in July to start clinical validation in September. Our product is very closely solving one of the challenges stated. So what would you suggest to companies that they already have an MVP and they want to apply?
That's a great question. Please apply. I mean, please apply. And if you already took a look at our application form, you will also see that it is very in-depth. Don't worry, it will not take long because it literally is about your company and your technology and solution. So it really should take you about 30 to 40 minutes to fully complete. Please put in the application information like this. And please say, right, that you have an MVP in July to start clinical validation in September. So we would still like to be as transparent as possible. And then another common question we get is, who looks at our reviews and all these companies that come in. We have over 100 Bayer experts and executives who look at these projects actually. So every time you apply, just know that there will have been over 100 people looking at your application. So it is very thorough. And so that's also a common question that we receive. And then I think there's another question. So how many companies do you expect to apply and how many do we accept, right? So, I mean, as much as I say, I would love to take every single company that comes through because really there are some really, really amazing companies. We do try to focus on which companies best address our solution or best address some of our challenges and who have the best addressable solution per se. And so, I mean, last year, if you look at our numbers, we received over 1,800 applications. And from that, for our accelerator, there was about five, 6 companies that were accepted. And then about 13 to 14 LOIs were signed. And so, however, we are not saying that an LOI is a guaranteed partnership because obviously, once we start digging in deeper and understanding the capabilities of each side, etc., this will also, narrow down further. So that's the answer I can give you there.
Yeah.
So, any more?
Yeah. Is there something like that about relocation purposes? Is Bayer supporting the expenses during the relocation, or is that included within the investment? So is that something that Bayer supports during the relocation, and how many times, and what is the duration of the relocation?
Yeah, so the question there, it was how many times is the duration of the relocation in Berlin, and do we support the expenses during that said relocation, or is it included in the investment? So we do get that question a lot. For the growth track companies, or if your company must stay a longer period of time here, we do not pay for extended relocation. So for extended relocation, we do not pay for that. However, we do invite sort of these the final companies to come and actually have a face-to-face meeting with our Bayer teams to actually put a contract together. And so during that meeting, we are reimbursing travel costs and accommodation, but only for that one meeting, but not for long term. And then I guess this is actually a common question that we do receive through our inbox as well. So I think the last question was, we can only address up to 3 TA challenges. Yes, for now, just to keep the application simple, we would like you to choose like the top 3 best applicable challenges that your solution can address. And so yes, only 3 for now. However, if it does answer more, totally fine, put it into the notes section. Does Bayer want or prefer solutions with some connection to pharmaceuticals? No, we do not. We are open to various types of solutions. However, we do prefer solutions that are within the digital health, at least some sort of a digital healthcare connection, but it does not have to be a direct connection to pharmaceutical companies. And for a global health question, is it only Africa or low-income countries? What kind of solutions or products are expected? So you could find those on our challenges as well. However, for the global health companies, we are looking at Africa in particular because we have our expertise that are based out in that area. This does not mean that in the future we may expand. This means that in the future we may expand, excuse me. But for now, we want to, because this is our first year kicking off our global health challenges, we are trying to be as fair to the companies as well. So we are only offering challenges where we can actually have sort of the expertise and the resources behind there. So yes, the series Africa only in particular. But it's, I believe, diagnostics tools and also different types of fintech products, right, to tackle sort of the affordability and framework issues that we see in emerging markets. Let's see, one of the questions here was very interesting. Who are your partners in the development and commercialization of your product, and what is their role? So it said, can you clarify what qualifies as a partner in this question? And so I believe that was an application question. In the application, it says, clarify what qualifies as a partner in this question. It says, who are your partners in the development and commercialization of your product, and what is their role? This essentially means any other partners that you may have. Obviously, there is an NDA enclosed. However, if you can share as much information, I'm going to say, for example, if I have a patient monitoring device and I'm currently partnering with Cedars-Sinai, then that's like the partner that you would list. And then what is their role in that would be, I am running clinical trials with them. However, if this is something that is too sensitive for you to share, that is fine. But remember that there is an NDA on our application platform as well. And this actually helps us better understand what capabilities are needed from our side, what resources are needed, but also sort of what resources we need to meet for your product in order to partner with us. Because as a pharmaceutical company, we do have a lot of regulation. We do have to meet a lot of these criteria with the authorities as well. And so this is just another question to assess better. And then let's see, is there anything else? Any other questions? Let's see. If you've already submitted an application, is it possible to reopen it to make edits until the application phase closes? So actually, you should be able to. However, if you cannot log into your platform to make edits already, please email us, and Eliani will also give you our questionnaire FAQ hotline after this. This is the last question. So she'll give you an FAQ email address for Bayer, where everyone can sort of submit any open questions that they may have directly, and we'll be able to answer that for you. But you should be able to if you already have an account. If not, then please email us and let us know, and we'll try to figure out why that is. You can't edit it. Okay. Oh, and then finally, I know there's a very first question. Is there a recording of this? Can we get the slides? Unfortunately, I cannot send the slides. However, Eliani will follow up to everyone on this call and share the recording that we have. So it will be available online for any of you who have other questions. And as I said, I know there's a lot of questions coming in. However, we do have an email here, grantsforapps@bayer.com. If you have any other questions that cannot be found on our FAQ at G4A.health, please feel free to send us an email and we will be happy to connect with you. All right, so I think that's it. So thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Eliani, for putting this together.
Thank you. Yeah, as Sophie said, if you have any questions, feel free to just contact us. We are really fast in answering, and we're open to answer all the questions that you have. Also, I will indeed send a recording of this presentation to all of you. So yeah, be aware of our message that will be incoming.
Great. Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone. So hopefully you all have this screenshot, grantsforapps@bayer.com. Any other FAQ questions you need answered, please, we want to hear from you. And good luck. We are looking forward to seeing your applications. Great. Bye, everyone. Have a good weekend.